head start. We'll do find the 4 roots of -1. You're going to need to start by changing this. Thank you. Changing this into the cis form. So x is going to be -1. And y is going to be what? What's the coefficient of I? Just 1, yep. So r is the square root of -1 squared plus 1 squared, which is the square root of 2. And theta is the inverse tangent of y over x. So that's going to be on the board there. Which one is that? Pi over 6, pi over 4, or pi over 3? Pi over 4 is going to be involved. But let's see where the point is. You go back 1, up 1. It's going to be right here. And you can kind of see this is definitely going to be pi over 4. But what will this be? The one we want. 3 pi over 4. Super. So what we're looking at, 4 roots is z to the 4th, because we're going to take the 4th root of this, is going to be 2 to the 1/2 cis 3 pi over 4 plus what? Do you remember what we add? Yep, 2 pi k. Good. 2 pi k. Great. How many of you remembered that part? Okay. See if you can go the rest of the way. So let's see how you're doing. I'm going to get a common denominator of 4s here. So this is going to be z to the 4th equals 2 to the 1/2 cis 3 pi plus 8 pi k all over 4. Okay, so then this is going to be, I'm going to take the 4th root of this and times 1/4 to the 1/4. And so this will be z to the 1st equal 2 to the 1/2 times 1/4 is 1/8. That's what you do with exponents. If this is to the 1/4 power, you take a half times a 4th. And then it'll be cis 3 pi plus 8 pi k. And 1/4 times 1/4 will have what denominator down here? 16th, yeah. There you go. So you're all set. So now you're going to do k equal to 0, k equal to 1, k equal to 2, k equal to 3, and then you're going to have z equal to 2 to the 1/8. 3 pi plus 0 is just cis 3 pi over 16. And you don't have to turn that into rectangular. When you have weird things like 16ths or 9ths, we didn't have those on our unit circle, and you won't have your calculator, so you don't need to worry about that. Z1 is just going to be 2 to the 1/8 power cis. Now you're going to take 3 pi plus 1 times 8 pi, which will just be 11 pi over 16. And that makes the next one 2 to the 1/8 cis. 16 plus 3 is 19 pi over 16, and the last one's going to be 2 to the 1/8 cis. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 3 is 27 pi over 16. Now, if you're going to be proper about this, excuse me, you can't be bigger than 16 pi over 16. So these last two need to be brought down by how much? Yeah, minus 2 pi, or 32 pi over 16. Minus 32 pi over 16. And so that top one, z, this was z0, this is z1, z2 is going to be 2 to the 1/8 cis, what is that, negative 13 pi over 16. And then the other one is going to be Z3. That's going to be 27, negative 5 pi over 16. Now I'm going to be very honest with you. If you got those two and these first two, I would be so happy. There's a lot of stuff that went into getting that far. But if you want to be a little bit fancy pants, you can drop those down 2 pi and get those for answers. Let's go through these and see how you did. I bet things went pretty well. This is in cis form, so it's easy to take the power. You go 3 to the third times cis pi over 6. How do you handle that cube? Times 3, okay? So that's the same as 27 cis 3 pi over 6. What does 3 pi over 6 simplify to? Yeah, pi over 2. Now, you know this, but just to remind you, cis theta is a shortcut for the cosine of theta plus I times the sine of theta. So we're not done yet. We need to break this down into 27 cosine of pi over 2 plus I times the sine of pi over 2. Because when we do that, on the unit circle, what's the cosine? 0, and the sine is 1. We're used to the sine being 0, but that's at 0, not at pi over 2. So then this turns into 27, 0 plus what? I. How many got 27i? That's nice, yeah. Question on that? Okay. Then for this one, x is 2 root of 5, y is 2 root of 15. So r is going to be the square root of 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 15 is 60. I got the square root of 80. Does that sound about right? Okay. So then for theta, we're going to go the inverse tangent, and this is in quadrant 1, so we won't have to do any weird drawings. You do y, which is 2. Did you know the square root of 15 is the square root of 5 times the square root of 3 over 2 square root of 5. So you see the method to my madness here. Inverse tangent of square root of 3. Which angle is that? Pi over 6 or pi over 3? 3. So my answer is going to be square root of 80 cis pi over 3. Anybody get that? Okay. This ends part 2 of my review. Go back and see part 1 if you haven't done that yet.